It is a case that has haunted the public for more than 13 years. Bodies found wrapped in burlap. A serial killer targeting petite, vulnerable women. 13 years of families waiting for answers. Who was hunting women on Long Island's beaches? Welcome back to Disturbingly True, where the truth doesn't just disturb, it haunts. She was very smart and creative. She loved being mom. 4 young women, Maureen, Melissa, Megan, and Amber, had families who loved them and futures cut short by a predator, hiding in plain sight. December 11th, 2010, a police officer and his canine named Blue made a discovery near Gilgo Beach that would unveil one of Long Island's most chilling mysteries. Everyone assumed it was Shannon Gilbert, the escort who had made that haunting 911 call months earlier before vanishing. But it wasn't Shannon. Dominic Verone, chief of detectives at Suffolk County Police, watched as searchers discovered 4 bodies. The women were identified as Maureen Brainerd Barnes, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. All were in their 20s. All were online escorts. All were petite. 3 wrapped in burlap, the kind found in hunting stores. They became known as the Gilgo 4. Maureen Brainerd Barnes, 25, disappeared first on July 9, 2007. Her sister, Missy Can, will never forget when detectives said Maureen had been positively identified as one of the victims. A mother of 2 from Connecticut, Maureen had turned to escort work to make ends meet. That July, she went to New York City for a weekend to make money. On her way home, she called Missy from Penn Station. Missy could hear the commotions from the train station. From the time she called, it was poof, she was gone. Nearly 2 years later, 24-year-old Melissa Bartholomew went missing in July 2009 from Midtown Manhattan. Her mother, Lynn, thinks about Melissa every single minute of every day. The disappearance destroyed all their families. About a week after Melissa went missing, her 15-year-old sister, Amanda, started getting calls from Melissa's phone. The voice wasn't Melissa. Stephen Cohen, the family's lawyer, remembers how the caller taunted Amanda. "Do you know what I did to your sister? I killed Melissa." Those calls may have been the killer's first mistake. The following year, Megan Waterman, mother of a 3-year-old, disappeared from a Long Island hotel. Her daughter Liliana said she would do anything to bring her mother back. The 22-year-old loved fashion and was devoted to her daughter. A haunting video from a Holiday Inn Express shows the last time she was seen alive, moments before meeting a client. Cell phone records placed her phone in Massapequa Park. Amber Costello was the last to disappear. Her friend Dave Schaller remembered, "She was small, about 4'9". She was amazing but tormented, addicted to drugs, and using sex work to support her habit. On the night she vanished, a client offered $1,500, 6 times her hourly rate. This guy was relentless, calling several times. He got Amber to do something she never did, leave without her purse or phone. Schaller described one of Amber's clients as looking like an ogre and driving a first-generation Chevrolet Avalanche. For over a decade, Rex Heuermann's name never appeared on a suspect list. The case went cold despite crucial clues. Police knew victims had been contacted by burner phones before disappearing. In 2012, with FBI help, they determined most calls connected to cell towers in a small Massapequa Park area they called the Box. Everything changed in February 2022 when Suffolk County Police Commissioner Rodney Harrison and District Attorney Ray Tierney formed a new task force. In 6 weeks, Rex Heuermann was identified as a suspect. How? The answer lay buried in original case files. They remembered Schaler's description. A large man driving a first-generation Chevy Avalanche. They searched for someone fitting this description who lived in that Massapequa Park box and owned an Avalanche. When they found Heuermann's name attached to an Avalanche in that area, District Attorney Tierney knew they had something. Looking at Heuermann's cell phone records, they found his phone was in the same areas as those burner phones when contacting victims, both in Massapequa Park and Midtown Manhattan. Always consistent. This pattern matched those awful calls to Melissa's family in 2009. Rex Heuermann was hiding in plain sight. A 59-year-old architect running RH Consultants and Associates, he lived 20 minutes from Gilgo Beach in Massapequa Park, where Megan's phone last connected. He worked in Midtown Manhattan, blocks from where Maureen disappeared and where threatening calls to Melissa's sister were made. Married to Asa, who was born in Iceland, Heuermann lived in a run-down house. Asa would take the children to visit family in Iceland during summers, trips police believe gave Heuermann opportunities to kill. Muriel Henriquez worked at Humerman's company. She recalled a gift from summer 2007, a sweater he asked his wife to bring from Iceland. Now she wonders if his wife's absence gave him opportunity to kill Maureen, who disappeared July 9, 2007. Henriquez saw nothing alarming about daily interactions with Humerman. She described him as a bit nerdy, pompous, and I-know-everything guy who ate pizza constantly while running between job sites. When police found nearly 300 guns in his basement vault, she was surprised only by the number. She knew him as an avid hunter. Going out shooting and hunting was his passion. He liked having a prize, stalking prey, and winning. She remembered when his tracking skills unnerved her. On her 40th birthday cruise, he said he could find her anywhere. On the second day of her trip, she found a note under her door. "I told you I could find you anywhere." Mary Schell worked with Humerman in summer 2010 when both Amber and Megan vanished. He talked about meat, particularly how bear meat could keep in freezers for months. Hearing victims were wrapped in burlap that hunters use was chilling. Since his arrest, Schell learned from other female employees that he didn't always treat women with respect, making inappropriate comments about their body. John Parisi grew up with Humerman, remembering him as a bullied loner. Children were mean to him, but despite being big enough to hurt someone if he fought back, he never did. As he got older, things didn't improve. He was rejected by many girls, and that awkward stage seemed to stay with him longer than usual. Investigators had physical evidence, including a male hair found in burlap used to restrain Megan Waterman's body. Police tailed Humerman, and when he threw out a pizza box in Manhattan, they pounced. Humerman's DNA from that pizza crust matched the hair found with Megan's body, a profile found in only 0.04% of the population. District Attorney Tierney remembers getting the report on a weekend, reading it multiple times before making calls. With DNA evidence, search histories, and burner phone evidence, they felt ready to act. Plainclothes officers arrested him near his office. Tierney doesn't think Humerman had any clue they were onto him. Court papers documented 3 email accounts using fake names: John Springfield, Thomas Hawk, and Hunter 1903, linked to burner numbers. Humerman used these to solicit sex workers and conduct thousands of searches related to torture pornography and child pornography. While investigators watched him, he was trying to watch them, searching for task force information and victim photos, including pictures of their relatives. When police searched Humerman's property, they found items they described as fruitful evidence. They also seized his first-generation Chevy Avalanche from his South Carolina property. Female hairs found on victims don't belong to the victims. Investigators identified strands consistent with his wife's DNA on both Waterman and Costello. Though prosecutors have evidence Asa was out of town during the murders, they must explain how her hairs got on victims. Tierney suggests simple transfer, hair falling on a spouse's shoulder, then transferring to victims during contact. Asa Ellerup hasn't been charged. Her attorney, Bob Macedonia, says there's no evidence she was involved. She was stunned by accusations. Nobody wants to think they've been sleeping next to a serial killer for 25 years. Rex Humerman awaits trial in a Suffolk County jail, denying he killed Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Costello. District Attorney Tierney says they wouldn't have brought charges without confidence in their case. Humerman took away somebody's mother, daughter, sister, multiple individuals. The investigation continues. There's always concern about other victims. In 2011, police found additional bodies along Ocean Parkway, including Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, a toddler, an Asian male, Karen Vergata, and Peaches. None have been linked to Humerman yet. Investigations spread to Las Vegas and South Carolina, where Humerman owns property. Nikki Brass, a hairdresser who claims she may be one who got away, says she was solicited by someone matching Humerman's description who brought up the Gilgo Beach bodies, asking how someone could dispose of bodies in that area without being caught. The families continue fighting for justice. Lynn Bartholomew speaks for all when she says their voices are now silent as the sand where they were ruthlessly discarded. At Gilgo Beach, where legend says a skilled fisherman once hunted these waters, families seek answers about a different kind of hunter whose chilling presence lingers in the ocean air. The case remains active, the search continues.